What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing good today. This is going to be my review on the new Oppenheimer movie. Okay, so I ended up watching Oppenheimer and Barbie. I saw Oppenheimer first and Barbie second. Out of the two, I did enjoy. Uh, I did enjoy Barbie a bit more, maybe because there was more imagination to it, things like that. I don't know, I'm not sure, but I did enjoy Barbie more than I did Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer was a good movie; it was alright. It was very dialogue heavy, so there was a lot of dialogue in it. So prepare for that. Just even though the movie was 3 hours long, there was some montages in there, as the director and writer Michael or Christopher Nolan does. He usually does, montages in his movies and things like that. There were a couple of them in this movie. There were some time lapses with the editing, so everything seemed like it came together. Just in a like, just there was just so many different jumps and everything, but it all worked out for the most part. That's just his directing style. There's nothing wrong with that. But there was a lot of information in this movie. So even though it was 3 hours long, a lot of scenes were cut down. And it's so that this movie probably could have been about like 5 hours, maybe even longer. And they probably just cut it down to 3 hours because, movies are usually a lot longer than what we know. Like, John Wick was about 4 or 5 hours, I believe, or something like that. The Suicide Squad, the 2016, I think, Suicide Squad was about over 2 hours of that movie was cut. That was about 4 or 5 hours. So anyway, just saying that, yeah, this was a pretty long movie. There was probably a lot of film, but 3 hours and everything fit perfectly. Me personally, if I had to give it a score, unfortunately, I would have to give it maybe a 2.5, maybe a 3. I don't know. It targeted a certain demographic, I felt, and I don't think I was quite that demographic. Christopher Nolan was my favorite director and my favorite writer. He made one of my top 5 movies, one of my top 3 movies, Inception. Top 5 movies, Inception. And, I had a lot of faith in him that he would take any idea and make it a good one. And maybe this was a good movie, but to me, I just didn't quite see it. I don't want to say I was bored at times, but there were times when I did feel like, hey, this movie, is it going to end, at times? And I usually don't feel that way. Not even through, movies that were a bit longer than that, but they had my interest more. But yeah, so with this movie, the actors were good. The directing was fine. There were a couple of scenes that felt a bit unnecessary, like they didn't necessarily need to be there. But it is what it is. I guess they were, like I said, targeting a certain demographic. I don't know. I don't want to introduce a certain idea of what this movie may represent in correlation to the other movies that came out, and I just don't want to implement that idea. But this movie did seem like it targeted a certain kind of mindset or demographic, and maybe that's why I didn't quite get it. But there were some scenes in there that felt a bit unnecessary. Robert Downey Jr., I did enjoy his performance a lot. He did good. It was interesting. There was a correlation or a comparison with J. Robert Oppenheimer and Thanos from the Marvel movies, and the correlation between those two and what they created, what they did, the influence that they had over like an overall bigger society or a group of people. And then I found it interesting how that triangulated into Robert Downey Jr.'s character into this movie. So I just thought that was an interesting thing that stood out about me is just that whole dynamic, the triangulation of that relationship. So I just thought that was interesting. But the reason why I brought that up is because seeing that kind of changed how I felt about the energy of the movie itself. But maybe that's just me. So let's see. The dialogue was good. The acting was really good. The performers were good. Like I said, it was just long, and the scene where they showed the actual bomb, me myself, I was a bit disappointed in how it came out. From what I understand, though, it was a real explosion, so they really did do that explosion in that movie. So they tried to recreate the bomb, but so it's probably why the footage came out the way that it did, because it was a practical explosion. Because of that, it wasn't. I didn't. It was a bit disappointing for me. And I don't like to say that word disappointing because I am a very understanding person of circumstances. But it's just if you are a person who's looking forward to, oh, I can't wait to see this bomb, and then when you finally see it, to me it didn't pay off. To me, it didn't. And after the bomb happened, I understand that this movie was a documentary of Oppenheimer. It wasn't so much about the bomb, and it took me a while, a couple hours in the movie, to actually understand that, to realize that. I think I actually understood that after the bomb situation happened and the movie kept going, and I was thinking to myself, why am I still watching the movie? What's going on? What's the issue? What's the problem? Why is this movie still continuing? The bomb went off, they took the bomb, they did their thing. And the movie just kept going into like a whole nother story arc of the movie. And I was just like, okay. I think that's when I realized the movie's not just about the bomb. It's about the person who made the bomb and just, what he went through. So this is a documentary. There were some appearances from Einstein. He showed up. So that was good. I don't know who played Einstein, but they did a good job with the role. There was nothing too... he did a good job with the role. It's just people are just too aware of how movies are made and how things are made nowadays, and they like to heavily judge it. So when you have something cool, like if a writer or a director or an artist wants to say, you know what, I like the idea of this character and I want their entity to be in the storytelling. It could be a beautiful thing for a creator, but for someone watching it, they just look at it as, oh, it's just nostalgia bait. That's all that is. Like, no, like that, I don't even know why that's a word, nostalgia bait. Like sometimes writers and directors have the ability to let their imaginations come to life, and sometimes if they want to do something for themselves or for an overall bigger story, they should be able to do that without it being used against them. So I don't know why nostalgia bait is even a word. I don't even like to say that word. I think this is the first time I've actually said it out loud. But yeah, Einstein was in there. He did his job. His presence was known. And I don't know how much people thought he was involved, if he was involved at all, but I guess he was involved with the formula, and Robert Oppenheimer worked with the formula, I guess, that Einstein kind of made. I don't know, things like that. But Einstein he did good. He did great. There was a very dark presence that did come over toward the end of the movie that I felt right after the bomb launch, and I think the director wanted you to feel that. It was a very evil. It was an evil presence. When I saw the image of what that bomb looked like, the way that the bomb looked, it had an evil presence with it, and it's like you could just tell, you could see. You could sense that thing had evil in it. This is what evil actually looked like, like it's popping up in this thing. And, that's just the feeling that I got when they showed the shell or the husk of the bomb. And then after it went off, Oppenheimer started seeing the reaction that his creation birthed and the people, these people that he saved or thought he saved. He made this creation, this bomb, to help people. And it costs, after he made it to help people, to help the world, make it a better place. But once he created it, it was out of his hands. It was taken over, and it did the exact opposite of what it was originally created for. It was created to sort of end the war or whatever. But then he realized, his bomb was used to attack someone who he didn't even, I guess, think of attacking a country he didn't plan on attacking, and innocent people were killed, not just the enemies, but innocent people too. Everyone who was cheering and saying, "Oh, we won the war, we're happy." These people were family members, they were kids, they were mothers, they were husbands, and they're alive to enjoy the victory and everything. But in another country, these people were just blown up, and they were just killed. They were just denied a whole life, and just the reality kind of sunk in that movie of a very dark mindset that people can have when it comes to, hey, we have a sense of power, and we can kill anybody, and we have the ability to take their whole life away, and we are going to praise that. And just seeing what that actually looked like in the face of people, seeing happiness and joy through chaos, through death, and through pain, that is something that I've seen in one other movie series, which was actually The Purge. And I saw that, and I felt that presence heavy when Oppenheimer was standing in front of the American people giving his speech. And I think Christopher Nolan wanted to give that feeling to really show the reality of what this thing was and what these things are capable of doing. When it comes to destroying the world, sometimes destroying the world isn't so much as a physical thing of destroying the planet. It's more of destroying the world as in how we as humans experience it and express it. And that was another message toward the end when Oppenheimer was talking to Einstein, and he said, "You said that our equation could, when the bomb went off, you said it could destroy the world. Well, I think it did." And he was talking about, destroying the world as in the human soul, basically, just how we go about life, because this world is a reflection. Anyway, just so that message was there, and we got pretty dark at the end, and I did feel that Robert Oppenheimer was a broken man when he made the bomb, and that's on record. That's in the footage. He was destroyed after he created that bomb, and this movie did a good job with really kind of showing you what it was that broke him as a person in real life when he was still around. I actually don't know if he isn't around, but I'm sure he's not, but I don't know. But this movie did a good job with that. Some people did walk out of the movie theater after the bomb. And so there was that. But yeah, the movie was all right. A lot of people were saying maybe this was Christopher Nolan's best work. He did a really good job. I don't know. I don't see how. I don't know why. When it comes to movies, reality seems to trump over imagination. I think people have a hard time substituting, I think, their beliefs, suspending. They have a hard time suspending their belief for a while and just enjoying the fantasy of what a story has to offer. And Oppenheimer did not offer much of that. I think that's why it had such a good review, because people don't really like having fantasy anymore, because it challenges the idea of what's real and reality. And us as humanity, we're losing our potency of being able to experience life in such a beautiful, colorful way. And I think because we are what we are, because we can't see the world in a colorful way anymore, because of how diluted the human experience and the human soul has become over time. And anyway, I think that's why this movie, one of the reasons why this movie was so big and so favored. But I don't know. I don't take that too seriously, because after what happened with, recent movies over the year, I should say, there have been a lot of false reviews on movies, especially the last year or so, with a lot of controversy going on in Hollywood. And certain producers have been caught mass buying their own tickets for movies and paying people to give reviews on the internet and then promoting those reviews. And it's just been a lot. And sometimes there's been reputations in Hollywood that's happened the last year. and people have been caught trying to soil reputations of directors, and they've been changing reviews, promoting ideas on reviews. So I don't know. So I don't know. From what I understand from the reviews that I've seen, a lot of people, from what I've seen myself, a lot of people were saying it was a good movie. And I honestly think that's why is the sense of belief. But overall, how good the movie did, I don't know. But yeah, didn't really enjoy it too much. But it is what it is, and the message that I got is there, and I want to share that message with you. That's 3 hours of my life I can't get back, but if those 3 hours can be concentrated into a small point or small message, then here it is. I'm sharing it with you guys. Thank you for listening to this. Like I said, 2.5 stars, maybe 3. But I didn't enjoy the movie, but I hope you guys do enjoy it. And yeah, do the best you can with what you got, and have a good day.